stopped and searched by the police for walking along the street and looking suspicious. I have, and so many hundreds of thousands of young people across the UK. But it particularly affects young black and Asian people. We're 6 times more likely to be stopped and searched. Why? I'll tell you why. Because it's racial profiling. The police assume that we're more likely to be carrying drugs, or we're more likely to be carrying out and do a criminal offence. Therefore, the stoppers. But in reality, a very small fraction of these stop and search actually ends in arrest, and an even smaller fraction turns into a conviction. And the only thing this seems to serve and cause is more tensions between black communities and the police. Because if every time we've had an interaction with the police and it's been negative, are we even surprised that young black people don't seem to get on with the police? Now, I remember when I was like 15, in 1 month I got stopped and searched 15 times. 15 times in my own area, all of which I'd done nothing wrong, all of which never resulted in an arrest. And I remember the last one, I was going to a meeting with Bradford Keighley Youth Parliament, and I was stood at a bus stop waiting for my bus, and these police have pulled up and they're like, "Oh, you alright? What are you doing? Where have you been today? What have you been up to?" And basically there'd been some muggings going on in the area, and because I fitted the description, they was like, "Oh, where did you get those clothes from? How are you affording them? Those clothes look a bit nice." And they started to quiz me, asking me where I'm getting my money from. I told them I do a paper round, and like, "Oh yeah, but they still look like expensive clothes." Then when I told them I was going down for a meeting with BKYP with the Chief Constable Inspector, and I wanted the badge names to report them for racial profiling, they offered me a lift. They offered me a lift down. 1 minute I was this suspect, this black guy who'd been robbing people to buy nice clothes. Next thing, they wanted me in the car to give me a nice cosy lift down. Because they got scared, because they realised what they're doing was wrong, and they knew if I took their badge numbers and handed it in that they would get into trouble. So we need to put a stop to racial profiling. We need to take away the powers of police to randomly stop and search people for no reason, because all it's doing is causing tensions between people in the community and the police.